Hey yogis, welcome back for another short flow today. Today's flow is going to be aimed around more so beginners, but that doesn't mean that all levels can't do this flow. There'll be an opportunity for you guys to intensify if you'd like to, but sometimes it's really nice to work in the modifications. They teach us different things about our body, sometimes really interesting. And not only that, but sometimes it's really nice to take things back a step and kind of start at the basics and really work on alignment. So we're going to work into that today. Alright, we'll get straight into it. We're going to start on our hands and our knees. Spread the fingers out nice and wide. Let's set up our base. Just ensure that your fingertips are grounding, your index fingers facing forward, and the eye of your elbow, bring that forward in space so it's facing straight in front. Keep that. As you breathe in, drop the belly, lift the gaze, lift the heels. As you breathe out, round through the spine, hover the knees. A long breath in, drop the belly, lift the gaze, lift the heels. A longer breath out, round through the spine, push the floor away. Just one more like that. Take a long breath in, open the chest. An even longer breath out, round more than you have before. Really nice. Come back to all fours. Keep your hips directly over the top of your knees. And walk your hands out pretty far in front. From there, we'll take a big breath in. Anahatasana as you breathe out. Start to drop your chest slowly down to the earth. We're looking for this beautiful arch through the anterior side of the body, the front line. As best as you can, keep the breath really fluid. And just ensure that your arms are active and that you're pushing the floor away. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Utilize that exhale to sink down a little. And then strength through the hands and the belly to bring you back up. Good. From here, we're going to head straight into our downward facing dog. Make sure that the fingers are spread wide. Take the hips up and back. We want to ensure that there's a nice bend in your knees. And just observe here, if you haven't noticed before, when we straighten the legs, we tend to arch through the spine. So by bending the knees, we can achieve this beautiful V-like shape and point our sitting bones towards the sky. And take a really deep breath in. And maybe you sigh the air out. Start to ripple forward into your high plank. Rise up onto the toes as you breathe in. Articulate the spine forward in space and land. Shift the body forward and come down to your knees. Now I'd love to give you guys a beautiful explanation of what's going on in this pose. When we're in our regular high plank, you can see that my toes and my hands are the furthest points away, and that's my base. When we shift the weight forward, bring our knees down to the earth, we've shortened that lever low. So we're ensuring that it's not as much work on the belly, but that doesn't mean the belly's not working. This is a really beautiful opportunity to work on broadening your collarbones, tucking your tailbone under. Let's take one more big breath in. As you exhale, hug your elbows to the midline. Move like you are a plank of wood in a straight line until you offer the body to the earth. And just take 2 breaths to reset, to regain that slow rhythm. And start to bring your hands down by your sides, palms facing the earth. We're coming into Shalabhasana pose. So as you breathe in, heel the chin, the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades, leave your hands on the earth, and activate through the crown of your head forward in space. Keep squeezing your shoulders together. You should feel this plait of muscles that follows the length of your spine working. Just one more big breath in. Lower down slowly as you exhale. Wobble your hips from side to side. We're going to come into Shalabhasana again as you breathe in. Chin, shoulders, chest, peel up. This time lift your hands up off the earth. Reach towards your toes. You can keep your toes digging into the earth, or maybe you lift them up as well, engaging the glutes. Now we're working this whole back line. Let's take one more big breath in this hold. Lower down slowly as you breathe out. Hips wobble gently from side to side. We're going to flow through a movement very similar. Bring your hands out nice and wide. Make sure that they're in line with your shoulders. Make sure you're up on your fingertips. As you breathe in, ground them down, open the chest. And as you breathe out, lower back down. 2 more like that. Breathe in, squeeze shoulder blades, use the back body. Breathe out, lower down. 1 more. Breathe in, that fluid movement up in space. Breathe out, lower down. Frame your ribs with your hands. As you inhale, take upward facing dog. And as you exhale, land in your downward facing dog, that active home base. Maybe pedal out through the legs. And become really mindful about how quick you're breathing. We're going to start to move towards our flow. And start to ripple the body forward. High plank, breathe in. Lower your knees. And find that modified high plank. Belly should be on. Broaden your collarbones through your shoulders. Let's take a breath out. Leaving your right knee to the earth. Start to bring your right heel in line with your right knee. Lengthen out that left leg, coming to a modified side plank. Now here, I'm going to encourage you guys to bring your foot back in line with your knee. But if you're wanting to take this a little bit further and test your balance, you can bring that foot in line with the knee. So all of our bases of support are in one line. That's going to make the balance a little bit harder. Yogi's choice. This is a really nice opportunity to modify and see what that feels like. We're going to take one more big breath in. Reach up through that left hand. As you breathe out, start to bring your left knee in towards your chest. Pivot on that back knee. Plant the foot and drop the hips. So our left foot should be forward, our right knee ground. If you need a little bit of support, you can always double over your mat for your right knee. But here what we want to work on is lifting up through the chest, down through the hips. Finding space in that right hip flexor, back of the left leg. Let's take one more big breath in. Half Hanuman as you breathe out. Start to peel the left toes up. Take the sitting bones back and the chest forward. All of these little micro movements come together to lengthen through the left hamstrings, this lower half. Let's take just one more breath out. As you breathe in, re-ground the foot, drop the hips, lift the chest. Exhale, half Hanuman, take the hips back in space. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in. It's like a fingertip lunge down on the back knee. Breathe out, half Hanuman. Really nice. As you breathe in, ground down your hands, lift up on the back foot. We're going to step back into our downward facing dog. So glue this knee towards the chest, push the floor away, find space, and step back, downward facing dog. Really nice, guys. Keep taking it at your pace, slow and steady. We'll move to the other side. As you breathe in, ripple forward, find the high plank. As you breathe out, shift forward, drop the knees. Tailbone tucks under, chest really broad. Alright, we'll find that side plank. Let's breathe out together, belly button to spine. Breathe in, side plank. Bring that left foot back, long through the right leg, right arm up to the sky. Keep lifting up through the hips. Your left shoulder blade, wrap that down your back. We'll take one more big breath in, reach up. As you breathe out, start to pivot on the knee, bring that right knee forward, step lightly, fingertip lunge down on the back knee. Now through that movement, there's a lot of strength to be built. And that's why when we use the word modified, we don't want to scare you guys in making you think it's easier, because it's not, it's just different. Once again, take the hips down, the chest up, find that space now through left hip flexor and the right hamstrings. Take one more big breath in. Half Hanuman as you breathe out. Peel the right toes up, take the sitting bones back. Now if this leg doesn't come straight, that's totally fine. You can have a bend in the knee. And once again, we're never looking to force the body. We're seeking space. We're not forcing space. So utilize that explorer's mind to find your depth. Take your last breath out. Reground the right foot, lift the chest, take a big breath in, think expand through the upper half. A whole breath out to take the hips back, chest forward, half Hanuman. 2 more times. Breathe in. This is called flossing the movement. And just observe how everything changes in the lower half as you move from one to the other. That last big breath in, lift up through the chest. Hips down and back, breathe out. Alright, reground the hands, lift up on that back foot, right knee glued to chest. And then step back, downward facing dog. We're going to flow that through one breath, one movement, your pace, your rhythm. We'll use a breath in to ripple forward, articulate through the spine. A breath out to shift forward and ground down through the knees. Right hand down, lift up through that left hand, side plank, take a big breath in. Left knee all the way to the chest, use the breath out to step really lightly. Breathe in, fingertip lunge, hips down. Breathe out, half Hanuman, peel the toes up, shine the heart forward. 2 times, breathe in, hips down, chest up. Breathe out, fold. Continue to seek that space. And just observe what the body offers you, what sensations lie within. On this next breath in, up on the back toes, ground the hands. Breathe out, step back as controlled as you can. Try not to scrape that foot on the earth. Breathe in, ripple forward, articulate your spine. Breathe out, shift forward, lower the knees. Left hand down, left knee pivots, side plank, breathe in, lift up through the right hip, the right hand. Start to pivot on that back knee, right knee to chest, step really lightly, fingertip lunge, drops the hips down. You guys know where to go, floss through that movement, finding space. And this beautiful fluidity, as fluid as the breath is, you want your movement to be. This will be our last one. Open up as you inhale. Use the space as you breathe out. Reground that foot in your hands, breathe in. Hug that knee into chest. Breathe out, down dog. One more time, guys. Ripple your body forward, inhale. That little shift Knees drop to the earth, breathe out. Right hand down, pivot on that knee. Take a breath in, lift up through that left hand. Breathe out, hug the knee to the chest, left knee. Step really lightly, fingertip plunge, breathe in. Half Hanuman, shift back in space and fold. Fingertip plunge, inhale. Last one, drop the hips down and back, keep your chest pulling forward. Ground your hands up on the back knee, breathe in. Step back, trying not to scrape that foot, breathe out. Last side, inhale and ripple. Exhale, shift and drop. Left hand, left knee stays down, right arm lifts. Take a big expansive breath in. Right knee to the chest. Use control to step. Fingertip plunge, inhale. Half Hanuman, find those right hamstrings. Last chance to expand, take a breath in, drop your hips down. Breathe out to fold. As you move forward, ground the hands, lift up on the back toes, breathe in. Downward facing dog, not scraping the foot, breathe out. And just start to pedal through the legs one at a time. And find that breath. And take a big, long breath in. And then walk your hands to your feet as you breathe out. And find a forward fold at the back of your mat. Guys, bend your knees so your belly can rest on your thighs. And then maybe you clasp either elbow and hang out in a rag doll. If you're craving a little bit of movement, maybe you straighten one leg out and then the other. Whatever you need here, take it. It's your practice. Listen to the body. And just take one more breath like this. And drop the hands. Slowly roll up to standing, slow and steady. Really take your time. Really nice. Step to the middle of your mat. Look down at your right foot, spread the toes out nice and wide, lift that left knee up, stork pose, take a big breath in. Land in tree as you breathe out, feel that external rotation and encourage that foot to the inner upper thigh. If you can't find that space, maybe you move the foot to the inner shin or use it as a kickstand, yogi's choice. And just start to find your variation of this posture. We want to ensure that we're not leaning back and dumping weight into our lumbar spine, nor are we leaning forward and flaring our tailbone out. Tuck the tailbone under, zip up through the belly, hands at heart center. And just start to find that still gaze. And push down through the roots of your foot into the earth to lift up through the crown of your head. Take one more breath out. Push the belly button to the spine. Lift your left knee up as you breathe in, nice and high. Open eagle as you breathe out. Start to externally rotate at the hip. Place the outer left ankle on the right thigh. Hands at heart center. And take the sitting bones down and back, the chest forward. These left toes, flex them towards the knee. Now you could be really high in this, or maybe you can come a lot lower. Once again, you just find that balance within the right foot and that space within the left outer hip. We're going to take one more breath in this hold. Keep your gaze still. Lift that left knee up. Take a big breath in. Catch the balance. Foot to floor, hands to heart center, breathe out. You can shake out that right foot if you need. Look down, mindfully watch the left toes spread. Lift the right knee up, inhale. And then really slow and steady, find tree pose, externally rotate at the hip. Place the right foot where suits you. Once again, the more still our gaze becomes, the more still our body will become. It's amazing how much we rely on our drishti, our gaze. Zip up through the belly, tuck the tailbone under. These minor alterations make huge differences within the body. Just one more big breath in. Push the belly button to the spine as you breathe out. Right knee rises, take a big breath in. Open eagle, outer right ankle onto the left thigh, flex the right toes, sitting bones down and back, chest forward. Once again, I know you guys can feel it in the left foot and ankle, so can I. We want to work through these standing balances to build stability in our joints and preserve them, but also find this beautiful opening for our last breath out. Right knee rises, take a big breath in. And foot to floor, hands to heart center, breathe out, wobble through the legs. Urdhva Hastasana, let's find length. Inhale, yogis. Forward fold as you breathe out. And take that halfway lift, a big breath in. And sitting bones down to the earth. Take a seat as you breathe out. You're going to come into a side body stretch. So bring your right leg out long and off to the side, and your left heel in towards the body. We'll take a breath in, zip up through the spine, and as you breathe out, right hand falls on the inside of the right leg, left arm will lift up and over. And just ensure we're not rolling forward and reaching down, but we're peeling that left shoulder back in space, opening the chest towards the sky or ceiling. And keep the breath fluid. We found a lot of length in the lower half. It's the upper half's body. It's the upper half's turn. We'll take just one more big breath in. And out. Slowly begin to come up. And we'll swap over sides. Take that left leg out now. Right in. Find that length through the spine. We're always looking to draw up and out of the crown of the head. Slowly, left hand will fall along the left inner thigh. Right arm reaches up, over, and past the foot. We're looking for these opposite forces here of right sitting bone grounding and right hand reaching further away. And taking these 2 points away from one another is why we find this stretch. For many of us, this is pretty strong, a part of the body we don't tap into often. No judgment, and certainly no expectations. Just one more breath out. Slowly come up as you breathe in. Both legs out wide. Flare your sitting bones back in space. Now, some of you guys have reached out to us saying that you feel interesting sensations along the inside of the legs. For those of you who feel especially any pressure around the inner knee, I'm going to encourage you guys to either take a micro bend in the knees or sit up on a pillow or a block and elevate your sitting bones. If that doesn't alleviate some of that pressure, please contact us. We'd love to help. But breathe in just one more time, find length. And then as you exhale, start to take your chest towards the earth. Now for some you'll move a lot, for others not so much. But wherever you are on that sliding scale, know that that is perfect for you. Just keep breathing in this fold. Rather than trying to change or escape the sensation, can you be there and monitor it? Once again, with no judgment, and just this loving awareness. We'll take Just 2 more breaths here. Slowly rise up. See if you don't need your hands. And then bring both legs together. Lay down on your mat. Once your spine reaches the earth, hug your knees into your chest and curl your forehead to your knees. This tiny little ball. Notice how it feels in the hips. We'll take 1 more breath out. Breathe in, release the head down to the earth. And as you breathe out, drop both of your legs over to the left side, ground down your right shoulder blade. Allow your knees to stack upon one another. And feel this gentle twist enter the thoracic spine. Rinsing out through the midsection. It's a perfect opportunity to find that space and offer up the body to that passive exhale. And just 1 more breath out. Using the core, slowly hug those knees back into the chest. Next breath out, with control, drop them to the right side, ground down the left shoulder blade. As much as you can, energetically keep the left shoulder blade heavy. Allow the weight of the legs to fall where they need to fall. Maybe you begin to notice these 2 opposite forces that are now offered to gravity's pull. And just 1 more round of breath. And gently begin to lift your knees back towards your chest. Land in our last and final pose, Shavasana. Lift your chest just enough to tuck your shoulder blades underneath. And begin to feel the subtle rise and fall of your belly. As best as you can, commit to this stillness. Commit to this break. Every time the mind wanders, shepherd it back to your breath, to that simple place. No, if you do not feel ready and you'd like to lay here longer, stay. That option is all yours. You are in the comfort of wherever you are. If you're ready to move on to whatever is next, begin to bring attention back to the breath. Find gentle movements in the limbs. Begin to lift yourself up to a seat. Allow your hands to fall into Anjali Mudra. Bow your head to your hands. Acknowledge yourself in the practice. Namaste.